year na-hack yung account namin.
Hanap niyo kung sino?
Hindi ko alam kung sino.
Hindi na nabawi yung account?
Hindi na. Umulit kami. So, nag-start kami last year ata, back to zero. So, nag-post kami ulit ng mga stuff from there.
Pero nabawi niyo yung likes.
Ulo, 800 pa lang kami.
Promote natin.
Carry UAPSA.
Kasi bawal nga mag-promote eh.
Yung UAPSA naman tayo.
Sino ba yung invite natin?
Sir Vinson.
Solid planning prof, Sir Vinson.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Alam mo ba, every lecture, parang na-inspire ako na aralin lalo yung planning kasi sobrang galing ng mga lectures siya. I mean, out of the box yung mag-lecture eh. Grabe. Sir Vinson talaga ang galing. Ayan, the next ka na.
Tuwa ako dun sa yung report namin sa planning.
Yung social sectors, yung ganun.
Environment niya sa amin eh.
Very
Sa inyo, may ganun ba?
Hindi. Kasi mas bigger yung scale nung sa amin.
Ayun na, nag-text na si Sir. Papunta na siya. Yeah.
Pambot yung tubig ko.
Sorry.
Kasi ako.
Asa na ba siya?
Ay, yun na! Yan si Sir.
Hi guys!
Hi Sir!
So how are you guys doing? Submission ng plates niya. Are you all done?
I'm done, Sir. Monday kami.
Okay,
And natapos
sir.
na ng maaga. Yeah.
Masahan namin mamaya. So,
Yes.
kaya ba? Bayad pa.
Oy, congrats sa Alex for passing.
Oh, sa taas.
Yay!
Congratulations.
So guys, hey.
Okay. So she's out of the limelight anyway. Kasi masabi. Okay. So I heard you were talking about student organizations before, right?
Yeah.
Like you were all presidents,
Yes.
right? Representing every organization.
Yes.
So Alex,
Arkinet.
You're representing Arkinet, and then Leslie,
HCS.
HCS, and Josh.
Yeah, so UST.
And then Russell.
UST, comma.
Right.
Redefine sustainability.
Define identity, so.
Yeah. Nice to have you all here, no? All presidents
Actually,
you're
wala
representing. Yeah, too bad the other
Wala si
presidents are
Alex,
also not here. And that makes me relive all the experiences. Yeah,
How-
happy moments of yeah.
How was it before, Sir? Paano yung...
Well, it's not really something different from what I actually see right now. What I see is what's really important is that student organizations make all students really united. And it feels like you always belong to a certain community. And this feeling of association, I think, is one important aspect that really brings students all together. And, you know, when you have plates, when you have difficult times, especially stress period, these are all your parang backup people,
Yes,
you know? Like, when I started as a staffer of UST, UAPSA-UST. And that was during the time of Architect Chako. So she was the president during that time. So I was a staffer when I was in first year. And then eventually I became UAPSA-UST DRO, so batch representative. And then during the Congress, the National Congress in Cebu, that was the time that I was elected as the national
Slowly building up.
building the career. So, and one important thing that I really valued during the time that I was a student leader is the passion of serving, and also that gave me an opportunity to learn so many things outside the school.
It's really interesting, Sir. When you think about what the implications are of being a student leader, like once you're professional, how do you apply these skills in the work environment? And for me, I think it's really important that you learn these skills while you're a student, because I think you have more time, you have more resources as a student compared to when you're an adult, where you have all these things like bills, you have a job, and dami mong gagawin.
And you have to think about other things. I mean, the priorities are of course different, and maybe that's also the time that you're starting to build your career, trying to find the path where you want to go. And
Could you imagine your life, sir, without...
No, really.
UAPSA?
What's going on with UAPSA?
Sure. I think we're doing great. I think we're really focusing on 3 things this this term, which is Filipino Architecture, Leadership, and Student Empowerment, of course. That's the most important thing. Because I think what we're fostering these relationships and we're fostering these students to become the next leaders of these orgs, not necessarily just the UAPSA. We want them to know that being part of student organizations, it's kind of like a supplement to studies, to academics. And yun nga, like you said, sir, it's really a necessary skill for students to know how to talk to people, especially in our profession, architecture. We always deal with clients, we always deal with other architects nga eh. And I think being sociable, being outgoing, being well-spoken is one of the most important parts of being an architect in this day and age. Yan.
We are assigned to promote the Manyosa exhibit via Sir Mercado. We had already 3 meetings with the Manyosa's people, and hopefully ma-push through yung exhibit kasi yun na, nakapag-spend na po kami. So, yun, sana pumayag sila and we're really rooting for it.
So we're all also looking forward. Alex and Russell, what's going on with Architect? Tomas.
Let's save architect for last.
No.
So Russell, how about
Architect, marami yan eh.
Actually, yung year na to, tsaka past, I think 3 years or 2 years, mas nag-focus na kami ngayon sa mas relevant issues. Focus na rin kami sa SDGs. Ang main goal namin is pang yung awareness din ng students sa SDGs. Lalo na ngayon po na kailangan nilang malaman na kailangan nilang hindi lang maging normal architects. Like, magkaroon ng sense ba yung...
So how do you apply that to architecture?
Sir?
Yeah.
Your
Your sustainability goals, yeah.
Hindi lang sa architecture kami ngayon. Kasi ayun yung goal ko ngayon nasa president is pang tulungan yung buong org na i-guide yung buong org na ma-achieve yung advocacy namin na awareness sa mga students about yun.
Stay
Na
woke.
maging mas,
Stay
maging
woke.
mas woke sa mga
Stay woke.
Stay woke.
stay woke. Ayun, isa.
Alex, how's Archinet?
Wow. Well, it's been a ride.
Super stressed. Pero
Well.
pasado pa rin sa Rosal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sir, passer? Archinet?
I mean, kasi Arkinet's been, I guess, banking on the reputation ever since Signal Kengo Kuma came. The bar has been there, but at least also the template's been set, and it's been easier for people like, oh, I know that's symposium. But so this year though, we wanted to be like, because there's a lot of festivals coming out, and like UAP National has I think their own symposium, so we had to come up with something na, you know, at least it's equal. Like you wouldn't just go to our symposium because the students did it, you know, let's help them. So we started doing we're gonna start launching our Manila Architecture Festival.
Oh.
And it has UAPSApan Live
Okay.
and HCS and Co.
Okay,
So
so
it's really
all
cool.
orgs
Actually, yeah,
represent.
even the orgs that
Actually,
have
sir,
been-
sobrang proud kami ngayong taon
they're
kasi
part of it.
Yes.
one arc.
One
lang.
arc.
One arc.
So yeah.
Speaking of one RT, actually yung next event for next month ng UAPSA is yung now, di ba?
National
Yeah,
Architecture
that's
Week.
another
one.
That's actually, I think that's a baby
Just
argument.
Baby
argument.
argument.
Okay.
I don't want to say it, but it's gonna be kind of like a practice for festival.
Yeah, kasi actually it just so happens I think because they were all friends.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're all
And
friends.
then Josh is like, you want? Let's just use na lang our now as a test for argument.
Ang first time nga.
Yeah. First time, actually, it happened before according to our advisory board. Pero, nangyari, it didn't seem like much of a UAPSA event though. It seemed more like everyone's event in each day. So, I guess, yung naging problem, naging issue dun was hindi na masyado na-recognize yung event as a UAPSA. And it's a required event din for us eh. Hindi naman required, pero it's a tradition din na every year may now kami. Meron pang World Architecture Day. Pero,
Which is World Day of Architecture.
yeah. Minsan di nagagawa kasi we have the constraints na may submission, may policy na bawal mag-event before submissions, before exams. That's actually why that's actually why nagkaroon ng now, because problema schedule. So we kind of just put everything in this one event na lang.
But despite all these hardships, do you still enjoy being in an organization or serving an organization?
I don't know. It's enjoy is very relative. For me, I know it's worth it in the end, but it's not fun all the time. It's not fun all the time.
That's why we have good vice president.
Yeah.
That's why I have a good national board.
Leave it to her anytime.
Being part of an organization, it's one of the most amazing experiences ever. It can be good and bad.
Mhm.
Can be tiring. It can be very fulfilling. And I think most of us we've been feeling exhausted all the time, balancing it with ACADS pa.
Yeah.
And it definitely affects our life, our social life, our time with family.
But arts didn't really give flowery promises, as we may see. But then this is how it's a simulation of life. Really.
Yes, it is.
This when you go out, when you start practicing architecture or start working, you also feel like okay, architecture is going to stress you out. But then eventually you get a relief or you get an out. After all these hardships, you will just say that
It's all worth
art,
it.
it's all worth
It's all
it.
worth it.
And without the APSA, for me, I will never be here and I will never experience the things that I've experienced. But I think, of course, one thing that is always there is that we are always loaded with lots of work and it's just normal. And when you go out, it will never be something different. It will still be almost the same or
Even worse,
more.
sir.
Yeah, even worse. So I think the career of architecture is something that is really stressful by nature, but then it's like looking for the right stress that you would like to endure. So this is almost a test for all of us.
So how do you think architects can do that? Like make buildings, make structures that can connect people, have that social relevance? Kasi I definitely think that one problem we have in this country is that people design for profit, not for change or like social relevance. So how do you think, what do you think we can do as planners, as architects?
One thing that I really realized that maybe some people, whenever they hear, okay, social relevance, that we have to design, that these philosophical statements, they always think that this should be something that is so profound. But for me, personally, I feel that social relevance in architecture is not really that difficult to implement. For example, when you design houses, in order for you to get a social relevance is that when you look at the perspective that you're building a house, not just a structure, but a home, and you try to know your clients, you try to engage your client, know their personalities, and when you start with that, I think that could already pave a good way in order for you to connect with the community, and then from the community you try to build yourself. How can this building or how this community can be responsible in terms of a greater scale? That is of course very clearly manifested by architecture and its connection to planning. So when you just design your houses, you basic compliance to local building codes. When you apply to the local building codes, that's the time when you actually get the connection with nature, connect your connection with the society that you are complying to something. And this compliance is not only given by law, but it is of purpose. The purpose that we remain to create buildings or structures that are not only beautiful, but also structurally fit and also usable for our clients. So that's, I think, one of the things that I can share.
Imagine if like you meet someone once you're an architect na, uy, plate kita dati. Plate kita dati. Yeah.
So anong oras ang class nyo by this time?
We have
Actually,
class in a few.
So,
Yeah.
thank you again. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much for coming, sir.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. I look forward to see and participate in all of your events. And I wish you all luck. Yes, one RT.
One architect.
Malapit na.
Malapit na yung now.
next month na guys.
Next month na pala.
Hindi na. Next
November
week.
20.
Next 3 weeks na lang guys.
Hindi, pero guys,
Lots
submit na
once.
sa OSA yung papers.
Yes.
Okay.
No problem.
Okay, good
Thank
job.
you, UAPSA.
Thank you, UAPSA. Oy, thank you,
Thank you,
First time
sir.
ko sa Panic Room. Nice.
Nakulala
Yeah.
actually.
Thank you so much, Panic Room, for giving us this venue. Sobrang solid.
Feeling ko dito na ako gagawa ng plate eh.
Ang ganda, no? Ang ganda. Very chill, very elegant
They
yung
have
design.
food.
Simple, sophisticated.
And
Yeah.
yung light.
Ay, lighting, no? Grabe. May wifi pa.
Ay, totoo ba?
Yeah.
Okay, sige. I'll go ahead, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank
yeah.
you.
See you.
Bye, sir.
Bye, sir. Anyhow.
Sige, class.
Tara, pasok.
Oh my God.